All right, so I just read that paper that what's her face Samantha Fulnecky said. Also, very funny last name. All right, now anyway, I just think it's really stupid how she was even making such a big deal about a 25-point assignment when I've took notes over like a chapter or something and gotten 35 points for it. 25 points is nothing, and it's no reason to make such a fuss about it that you get Turning Point USA of Charlie Kirk fame involved in it. Another thing I want to point out is that this paper is 100% deserving of an F. Have you ever seen those like jokey like assignments that kids turn in where it's like, what's 34 plus 33, and the kid writes Jesus because Jesus is always the answer. It's the same thing as that. And also, she does not indent her her paragraphs, which means that there's no body paragraphs. There's no actually there's one introductory paragraph. There's no body paragraphs, no conclusion paragraph. It's just one giant paragraph, one 742 word long paragraph. Also, she does not cite any sources. In the rubric, she's told that she needs to, one, clarify that she read the paper, and she does this by saying that she read the paper. And also, it has basically, the typical things that you learn in 8th grade English, which is that you need to cite your sources. Restate, answer, cite, explain. The things that you learn in, again, like I said, 8th grade English, she doesn't do any of those. She just yaps. And as somebody who's written a lot of essays before, this is bullshit that she just started yapping about on the 12-point Times New Roman text. Also, it's very funny to me that Turning Point, I think Oklahoma University is the thing that actually posted this thing. Basically, they were like talking about how the professor is trans, which good for her that she's she/they pronouns, happy with that. But I just think it's funny how they have to mention the fact that she's trans, so her audience, not her audience, but Turning Point's audience can get a kick out of that and have some sort of victim complex that they just acquire after seeing that somebody is trans that failed the student. I just think it's so funny that Turning Point and all these conservative outlets have to constantly use that somebody who does something that upsets them is transgender. You wouldn't do the same thing if somebody was cis or a cis man. You only see it if it's a trans woman, never a trans man. I notice it's always trans women that they have a problem with. And there are probably a lot of reasons why they specifically have issues with trans women instead of trans men. Which you get through a lot, and about that a lot, on how that is whole bullshit, and trans women are women and trans men are men. But I'm not gonna get into that. But the one thing that I want to put out there is that this is just a distraction. This whole culture war thing against trans people, saying that they are against Christianity, which people are saying, is total bullshit, first off. And also, like I said, a distraction against things that truly matter, like the genocide in Gaza and, the Epstein files, and say, I don't know, the constant raising of prices, and, the war in Ukraine, and like I said, the war in Gaza, not even a war, a genocide where people are dying every day, and Israel just got put into Eurovision, which is about Europe, and they're not even in Europe.